Welcome to Mobility Matters, a webinar on-demand series from ALD Automotive. In each episode, we tackle a key topic within the fleet mobility market, providing scenarios, analysis, insights and case studies with the goal of helping fleet professionals better understand and navigate the fast-changing fleet mobility market. We cover a wide range of topics, including fleet decarbonisation and electrification, legislation and taxation, fleet policy, and the impact of technology on the fleet mobility ecosystem.
Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of Mobility Matters. My name's Mark Evans, Head of Consultancy at ALD Automotive. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce my colleagues who are joining me in this episode.
Hi, I'm Tash Turner, Fleet Consultant, specialising in financial modelling, total cost of ownership, fleet optimisation and mobility.
Hi, I'm Russ Bolton, LCV Consultant. I lead our commercial vehicle proposition, working with our customers to provide consultancy, insight and market intelligence to support their powertrain transition and overall fleet strategy.
Today we're going to be talking about mobility as a service, or MaaS. And to start us off, Tash, do you want to give us a brief overview of what we mean when we refer to MaaS?
Yep, so mobility as a service, or MaaS as it's referenced to, is an emerging market, and it is essentially a switch from that ownership model to a usership model, which integrates various modes of transport, not just the traditional car, and it puts more of a focus on looking at transport from a user-centric position. A good kind of reference point really is if you think we used to go out and buy CDs when we wanted to listen to music, and we're now using streaming platforms such as Spotify.
Brilliant. So we're talking about it from a user-centric point of view, I guess, and really driving multiple options for people. Russ, from a commercial vehicle point of view, do we need to think about MaaS as well?
Yeah, we definitely do. There's a similar kind of approach. I think one of the main challenges is that we have from an LCV point of view is that we're really focusing around the movement of goods, whereas MaaS is traditionally focused around the moment, mainly focused on the movement of people, and there are certain challenges there that we're facing, but we are seeing that the likes of, the big delivery companies that are looking at multimodal transport to deliver the final mile, and looking at different ways of approaching that, and that is definitely a MaaS kind of approach to that scenario. But there are challenges.
Yeah, sure, and I think we'll talk about those in a little bit more detail. I think a lot of the drivers behind MaaS are, as well as aggregating transport and letting us choose the right journey and ultimately potentially reducing congestion in urban areas. A lot of this as well is around, I guess, carbon reduction and that whole ESG agenda as well, and choosing the most environmentally friendly solution. So just thinking about MaaS in the UK at the moment, and we talked to a lot of customers about how they'd like to start applying some MaaS thinking to policies and fleet travel policies, etc. What are the main blockers currently in the UK?
Well, there are a number of blockers that you can see kind of outlined here. Primarily, we do have a fragmented transport system, so it's quite complex in the UK. We have multiple operators, ticketing systems and regulations, which are then vary across regions as well. So some of the challenges are different modes of transportation, having different data sets, having different pricing. So trying to seamlessly integrate all of those into a single platform is going to be quite a challenge. Different regions, different operators may have different regulations around data sharing or liability. There might be resistance to align pricing from a competitive side of view. And ultimately, all of those will prove challenging in making sure that the MaaS platform is able to operate in its intended capacity. So outlining the most cost-effective or most environmentally friendly journey for drivers to take over varying travel operators. But equally, what then compounds that is the digital infrastructure and reliable and connectivity that would be needed. So you've got different mobile networks across the UK, you have different access to internet access depending on where people are. So not everyone will be able to access all the digitised apps, but equally sometimes people are a bit abject to change. So if people are accustomed to using private vehicles, they may be unaware of some of the benefits of public transport or gaining access to all of these different operators and their information. So there's a number of challenges, and addressing all of those is going to be key into the mass adoption of MaaS.
Brilliant. So, I think we've pointed out some of the challenges here, but actually there are already opportunities there. There are already trials. There are already solutions around MaaS that exist. So, in the UK at the moment, how is that sort of movement towards MaaS progressing?
Well, there's been a few recent progressions in that area. Largely in August, the government responded to last year's MaaS Code of Conduct consultation, which was between February and May of 2022. And that was created outside of their Future of Mobility Urban Strategy and their Transport Decarbonisation Plan. So where the government is able to get feedback from key stakeholders to identify the challenges that are involved in MaaS adoption and ultimately leading to a code of conduct being produced. So there's been some quite valuable insight released just last month into how they're going to address some of the challenges. But equally, there are a number of schemes and pilot trials across the UK at the moment. Just two to briefly mention is you have the Future Transport Zone, or the FTZ, which started last year down in Portsmouth. Solent Transport was provided with almost £30 million funding by the Department for Transport to trial a MaaS solution. So they utilise a super app called Breeze. They have bike and e-bike hire schemes, lift sharing, picking up and dropping off of people on demand, and e-scooters. It's set to run for 2 years and is already providing quite valuable insight into feasibility, driver behaviour and solutions to adoption. And then you also have one of the largest MaaS programs to date in the UK called Go High, which is a free MaaS app that was launched in 2021 for some of Scotland's most rural areas. So it's looking at MaaS adoption in some of the rural areas that might not have accessibility to such varied and on-demand transport links the likes of maybe central London may have. So both of these, as well as the other trials operating across the UK, are all providing the government with valuable insight and will all help that consultation that they're working on as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for that overview, Tash. And I guess from a customer perspective and from anyone looking at MaaS as part of their wider mobility policy and how that works with cars and vans and everything else, there are solutions in different parts of the UK, but a lot of them are quite regionalised. There's certainly not a UK-wide platform that can deliver this, but actually for businesses operating in certain areas, there might be some really good solutions already in place.
Yeah, most definitely. It's definitely something that most fleet operators and fleet managers should at least take a look at and explore. It's just as with many things in the fleet industry, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all, but there will be bits and elements of it that may improve their fleet operations, their cost, and help them towards their ESG and sustainability targets.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tash, and thanks for joining us today for this edition of Mobility Matters, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mobility Matters. If you wish to learn more about the topics discussed in this or any other episode, or wish to find out about the products and solutions we provide to fleet operators, please visit www.aldautomotive.co.uk/future.